And we're back with some more Dyson Sphere Project. And today we're going to be concentrating on these two suckers here. Now, this thing here, weird looking ray receiver that it is, collects power from outer space, but only from solar sails you've launched into space. So you launch these solar sails into space, and this thing, receives the power from them so you can get power on the ground. How do you get those solar sails into space? Well, you put them into this giant railgun, and this railgun launches them into space for you. Yes, that is beautiful. Now our power production here has gone up, and we used to have 302 kilowatts, and now once those two sails arrive, it takes a moment. Once they arrive, we'll end up with a little bit more power, and this maxes out about 16.8 megawatts, it seems. So, there we go, there's 32. Beautiful. And 64. So each one's worth about 30 kilowatts. So what we want to do today is automate the production of those solar sails. And we're just going to have like a belt of solar sails coming up to this thing, and it's just going to keep launching them into space so that we can keep improving our power supply. That way we can wean ourselves off all of this stuff, and it basically gives us a renewable source of power that never runs out. Now I'm not sure about the day-night cycle and how that's going to affect this, but you know what? Who cares? So first thing we got to do though is, what does it take to build these things? And down here you'll see we need photon combiners. Those things take, we're going to concentrate on the prism side first. It takes prisms. Prisms are made out of glass. Glass requires rock or stone ore. So over here we have stone ore coming from a little store mine over there. Stone mine. Stone comes in here and gets turned into glass. Each one of these takes, 2 seconds to make one piece of glass. This thing here eats 3 pieces of glass every 2 seconds. So we have 3 of these to 1 of these, and that gives us our prisms. Now, we have to combine those though. Once we've got our prisms, we have to combine those with some circuit boards. That requires iron and copper. So we're going to have to combine iron and copper to make the circuit boards. And then once we have both of those, that will give us the photon combinator. Then all we need on top of that is some graphene. Then we'll have to find a use for that hydrogen on the side. The graphene is easy. We just, we're going to tap into that, what's that stuff called? Here it is, fire ice. There's fire ice on this planet, and we basically just throw that into a chemical plant and it'll split out the graphene for us. And with all of that, we should be able to feed it directly into there and start improving power. So, let's just put in a quick little facility here. We'll grab copper from over there, and I'll find the local iron supply. You know when you start something and you think it's going to be quick and short? Yeah, this isn't... To get this done and to get the numbers evened out, we had to make a few minor improvements here. For example, for the solar sails, you're going to need, say, these photon combiner. This requires 2 prisms, and for every 2 prisms, you're going to need 1 circuit board. Now, the circuit boards, unfortunately, if you just have 1 copper and 2 iron, they'll produce 2 circuit boards a second. So that means we need 4 prisms a second. To get 4 prisms a second, we needed, 4 factories to make them, and then we needed 3 furnaces to go with each of those, and I'm pretty sure that 1 line of stone is not going to cut it, but we've got the basics down. As well as that, we had to run iron from, where is it? All the way over here somewhere. Yeah, over there. There's where our iron vein is. So we basically ran out of transport belt, which means we got to fly back to home base just to pick up more resources. I never built a mall here. But once we get more transport belt, I think we can finish this off. So hold on while we have a quick interplanetary flight. Considering you have to travel, 2.5 AUs to go pick up supplies, I probably should have packed the car a little bit better before I left. Okay, this time we'll take everything we need to get set up properly. Hang a quick left around the gas giant, Jesus. Alright, and come in for the superhero landing. Come on. Oh yeah, that was smooth as silk. Smooth as silk. Alright, let's go grab some resources and get out of here. I'm pretty sure I've forgotten something, but you know what? Who cares? We can always come back. I will admit, it is kind of nice flying between planets. Alright, let's sail speed, and does that actually get us out of the planet? No, I think you have to hold spacebar to keep going, and that eventually gets you into space. Now we're looking for Adhill 3? Adhill 3, where are you? God damn it. The moment we get finished with all of this launching solar sails, and we've just got something to automate it, we're going to get around to doing the interplanetary transport stuff. That'll hopefully get rid of all this flying between the planets. I mean, it's fun the first time, but, after crashing into your face a few times, you're like, yeah, there's probably a more convenient way of doing this. So the thing is, can we this time manage the superhero landing? Come on, pull up. No! Oh, well, It wasn't a direct headland, but that was more of a chest scrape. I'll live with that, I'll live with that. You know, there's no lights in this game, but I do like the way they've sort of made everything glow. The graphics on this are actually, well, they're good to look at. There's definitely, this is very heavily Factorio inspired though. Very, very, very. The only weird thing is they have no underground belts, so running your belts is actually really tricky, though they do carry an awful lot more than, say, a normal belt would. Well, Factorio style belts. Now, we've got our green assembly circuits there, iron and copper feeding into them. We've got all of our stone coming in on this side to make our prisms. And then over here on the far left, we've got all our oil coming in to make our graphene. Now, I am going to have to actually burn off all of this hydrogen. For now, we'll find a use for it. Actually, let's store up a chunk of it for now. I can use it to make some more hydrogen fuel cells out of all the titanium we've got lying around this place. And then we'll put a little power plant here on the end as well, just to burn off any excess that doesn't get stored. Waste not, want not, you know what they say? And there we go. That will be a very large storage box. It will contain, well, a lot of hydrogen that we can use for later. Any excess will get burnt off in the power plant. And that gives us all of this lovely fibers that go down here. Okay. That gives us the two main ingredients we need, which are, oh, damn it, bring it back up again. We're going to need these things, graphene and photon combiner. So we've got graphene and photon combiner on these belts. Let's combine them in, and then we can finally feed them over into our EM rail ejector. Though I don't think it can fire at certain times of the day. It can only fire when the sun is in it. Well, it's in the correct orbit so that it can actually land in the correct radius for the Dyson Sphere. So after 2 interplanetary trips and an awful lot of transport belt, we can just load that into there, load that into there. And finally, we're actually automating the production of solar cells. Oh my god, how long does that take to produce one of them? 4 seconds? Okay, we're going to need like a couple more of these. Say 1, 2, 3, and come on, give me number 4. Boom, 1 second while we plug these all in. Right, 4 of them producing Dyson cells. Now we just gotta put a transport belt to get them all the way over there. Fairly simple, unless we run out of transport belt. No, 700 transport belt. We came prepared. Transport belt will carry them all the way down here. And we're going to swing them around and start loading them into the gun. Done. Ooh, maybe get rid of that last one, we don't need it. And is it now automated? Please tell me it's automated. Yes, yes it is. Okay, that is freaking awesome. Where are you launching them? Okay, it's got to get them into a certain radius. I haven't really been looking into this too much, but as the planet rotates, sometimes at night it can't fire. Where is it? Dyson Sphere. Now this is where the Dyson Sphere is supposed to go, and I think it's showing where is it? Show all orbits. Show orbit 1. I think this is where they all are. You can see the blue streaks as they get flown into orbit around the sun. This is definitely going to improve power production, though I think I need more of these. Yeah, I think I definitely need more of these. Hard part is, how do I make these again? I'm pretty sure these things are stupidly expensive. Ah yes, we're going to need a bunch of stuff we don't have. I think it's time we started getting around to doing the more complicated supply chains. We're going to have to start producing supermagnetic rings and a few other things in bulk. And to do those, we're going to need electromagnetic turbines, electric motors. In fact, we're going to have to do this entire row here. There's just an awful lot of these that are needed. So let me do a little bit of a hard think here. There is just something so nice about the way they've implemented solar here. Solar in Factorio and other games, you have to go and spread loads of it, do all sorts of stuff. This, no, you automate it, it gets launched into space, and you just put down receiving stations. You know, these don't work at night. So when it hits nighttime, this thing stops drawing down power from the sky because it's not facing the actual the devices in space. However, to get around that, what I've done is, well, we'll just follow this here. You'll notice there's this very long string of power poles here. The reason for all of that? Well, it all links over here. And there is our other ray receiver on the opposite side of the planet. Currently this is offline because it can't see the sky, but when the sun goes down on the other side, this side will be able to start receiving power as well. Now, we're still limited. I think that only can pull down, what? No, not 5 megawatts. I think it's 16 megawatts is the maximum, or something like that. But whatever it is, doesn't matter. Once the time comes, we'll just put down more of these. I think this is a really good implementation of solar. I quite like it. It makes things much saner. Anyway, let's get back to base. We've got some construction to do. Oop, oop, oop. Landing these things. Never going to get used to it. I just noticed you can now start to see all of those solar panels floating around the sun. They're actually forming a bit of a ring. Oh, damn it. Scroll down. There you go, you can actually see them rotating around. That's excellent. They really went all out on the graphics on this. Where are we? I can't actually see us. We're way over there. You can see us actually launching them. Though I think we've just, yeah. Unfortunately, it's gone too low below the horizon, and then you get these little warnings on them, pitch limit. So they can only launch from certain angles, which means we're probably going to need to build about like 10 or 15 of these so that they can keep up with the production. Okay, sorry, but I gotta stop getting distracted. We need to get on with some more production. So is it like the 5th time's the charm about this landing? I think we got this. We just gotta like pull up just before we hit the ground. Oh, no, okay. Never mind. That was a bad idea. Bad idea. We just sort of completely overshot the planet. Can we turn around now? Anytime now? So, important thing to note, trying to turn when you're doing, a fraction of this, like when you're doing almost 1,000 meters per second is really tricky. And it also requires fuel. So every time you try and turn, that your fuel gauge is going to go down, or that battery thing at the bottom. Which means, yep, you've got to be really careful about that. We're looking, and that's with hydrogen fuel. Turning around took me, I don't know, like half the distance between the Earth and the Sun, or about 4 light minutes. It took me 4 light minutes to pull a U-turn. Sounds about right. I'm sort of curious to see what would happen if I tried to land on that gas giant, but you know what? Nope. We're just gonna we're gonna do a nice landing right about. Yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I was just getting all set to put together a production facility for super magnetic rings. It seemed like a good idea, and then I was just looking over here, and you'll notice there's multi-layered belts. As in, you can raise them and lower them to different levels. Now, it should be fairly easy to figure that out, because the moment you put your cursor anywhere, over in the middle right here, you can see lift up 1 level just requires the up and down arrows. 0 reset to surface, put item back, don't snap to building. There's a whole bunch of stuff over here. Turns out you can have triple layer splitters, which is, yes, that's awesome. So we can have triple layers of these things going along. In fact, even more. I think it can be even more granular, but if we want to use splitters, we're going to need to go with 3 layers. Yes, let's see what we can do with this. This is going to fry my noodle, but I think we can turn this into something resembling a decent main bus. Especially now that we're able to hop over belts. I still cannot believe I didn't notice that. Thank you to the comments. Thank you very much. After a bit of playing around and messing around with the belts, this is going to be the start of our main bus. Doesn't look very impressive, but it's just the start. Over here we've got our copper. Copper comes from in there. It's going to go through these smelters. Now, I was just checking this out. Transport belts here have a movement speed of 6. So 6/s, 6 a second. We're going to be getting into the upgraded ones, which will be 12 a second. So we're going to need to extend that smelting column on to 12. The reason being, I'm looking at the furnaces here, and you can't seem to, well, the smelters, you can't seem to upgrade them. They are what they are. Alright, then over here we've got our iron. Now, iron ore is a bit weird. You need iron ore as a raw resource for magnets. It's a bit weird in that copper has no use. The copper ore has no use, so you can just immediately smelt the copper ore into copper plate or copper ingots. It's just better that way. Now, over here when it comes to these suckers, they're going to get first draw, and they're going to put the magnets on the belt, and the magnets will go over this side. We're going to need them, especially for what we're planning on building straight away, which is mostly going to be an upgrade to all of the system to make it more efficient. Then once it gets past the magnets, if they're no longer required, it goes through 6 smelters, and those smelters will turn it all into iron plate. That iron plate goes all the way down here. So we've got iron plate, copper ore, and magnets. And because we've spaced them just this far apart, we should be able to keep extending this bus out this direction and sort of branch them over as needs be and branch them back. This way we should be able to just sort of, well, main bus it and put stuff on the side here. So let's see what is the first thing we're going to want. Well, we're probably going to want to get into more transport belts, which means motors. We're going to want electric motors, electromagnetic turbines, and super magnetic ring. We want all of these. So I suppose the first thing to do is, should we put magnetic coils on the bus? You know what? Let's do it. Let's just start putting everything on the bus. We're even going to stick steel on at some point, I suppose, as well. So magnetic coils will be next up. We'll put in a quick production facility. All we need is, let's see, 2 magnets, 1 copper will give us magnetic coils. 2 magnets, 1 copper. Alright, so we're going to need to get the magnets and the copper down here. And let me think for a moment, or 10. Minor change in plan. I realize we're going to need some green circuits first, so a little bit of a green circuit production facility over here. Nothing too major. Then, boom, that gives the copper in from one side, and we're going to literally we're going to steal the copper right from where the furnaces are. This is probably not good for compartmentalization, but you know what? It does make it quite convenient and compact. I kind of like that idea. Okay, done. And then it kind of goes across here, takes a big turn, and then goes straight onto the main bus. Right, so that's green circuits, magnets, copper, and iron. Now what was the next one? Ah, yes. Now we got to do those magnetic rings. What do you call them? Ah, magnetic coils. So next up is magnetic coils, which requires 2 magnets, 1 copper. Alright, let's get this started. And things get less confusing. Of course, less confusing. This is the iron plate that comes through here. The next belt is copper. The next belt is magnets. The next one up is magnetic coils, which feeds back out to where? Oh, I never put the magnetic coils on the... Okay, so I need to put the magnetic coils back on the bus. Then at the same time, we've got the electric motors that I'm producing here. And those electric motors come out here and go back onto the bus on this side. So I suppose I just got to thread out these things here. This gets interesting because you just sort of like go, oh, well, we'll do a couple of... Actually, no, we can't get by that... there we go. Then we can get by that thing. So we just... oh my god. Yep, that's a mess. But if we get rid of, say, that, we should probably be able to... No, stop. Give me that. And then we just bring it all the way down. Oh, come on, right about there. Turn it around, and now we can have this one. Oh, damn it. This is in the way. You know what? I think we'll just move them. This one can go here, where it's supposed to go. And this one will just extend on a little bit. And our main bus is getting much, much wider, and we're running out of space. But we'll figure it out. That's the whole joy of these games, is you just keep tacking stuff on until eventually you give up and you restart the game. Next up, we're going to try and produce the beautiful electromagnetic turbine as a precursor to the supermagnetic ring. Now, all of this needs is an electric motor and some of those electromagnets. Both of which, yeah, we got the electric motor and the magnetic coil. We got both of them on the bus. In fact, we have the electric motors right there. That means, you know what? We might just pull them directly off here, stick them into a machine, and then so long as we bring across the magnetic coils, that should work just fine. Yeah, one moment. Yes, it looks even more spaghetti-ish than usual. That is... I love the way you can just do these bridges all over the place. It's going to get so confusing. Just so confusing. Anyway, we are now producing those green electric motors, whatever they're called. They're called electromagnetic turbines. Well, perfect. They're done. Now we've got to do the supermagnetic ring, which... I don't know, whatever. It requires 1 electromagnetic turbine. Some of those rings, we've got those magnetic rings already on the bus. They're right there. We can see them. Yep, there's the magnetic rings. And that means all we need is the graphene, which is the graphite. Energetic graphite, which is made from refined coal. Alright, let's go put some refined coal on the bus. It's going to have to go probably about over here somewhere. In fact, let's build this up first and decide where we're going to put it in. Oh, damn it. 1 second while we remove all these trees. It really is like Factorio. The trees are the true enemy. They're the ones you got to keep going around, and there's not even a quick way of destroying them in this. I'm supposed to get build over them, but they just get in the way. We put these here, and their job will be to create the new motors we're looking for. Alright, there's the fancy blue ones, and then all we do is we feed them in from this side. You go into these suckers, you can go in there, and you can go in there. Boom. Alright, now we just need 2 more ingredients, don't we? Finally we have these suckers built, and we're storing them up. In fact, let's increase the storage on that a bit. These things are very useful for a lot of things. In fact, let's just chuck a bunch of those into our inventory right now and see what we can spend them on. See, there's several things that are quite nice to have that require those, like EM rail ejectors and ray receivers. You know what? Let's throw one of these together really quick. Oh, 100 seconds. Yeah, well, this will allow us to get power on this planet from all of that Dyson Sphere stuff we're putting together. Dyson Sphere is not that great. It's about 11 megawatts, but once we get a few more railguns up and running, which this is definitely going to help with, those are very, very, very useful. I think the next things we want to look into, though, are getting your hands on particle containers and processors. Actually, processors first, because they're useful for just about everything. And once we've got processors, we'll go on to those particle containers. But processors shouldn't be... Oh no, damn it! For processors, we're going to need silicon. And silicon is quite rare on this planet. We're going to have to get interplanetary transportation, which means we're going to need, well, silicon, because interplanetary transportation requires those. Let me do some more thinking on this, but first I want to get up some more power and maybe a couple more railguns. Well, I managed to put together a transport tower, one of these interplanetary logistics stations. These things are huge. Holy jeebus, look at the size of this thing. I was wondering why it was so difficult to build one of these. Alright, these are a pain in the butt to figure out how to work. What you need to do is set them up to store resources, and then you don't actually move them in or out, you just literally route a belt right into them. They seem more like splitters. They seem, yeah, they're sort of more configured like splitters, as you can pump resources into them. Kind of makes up for these empty slots. So I've said I want you to store titanium. So we're going to get this to store a bunch of titanium. In fact, you can grab another logistics drone. In fact, not only is it going to store titanium, I think we're also going to store a few other bits and bobs you like in this planet, like fire ice. That's very rare, but we would also like to store that. And the one last thing on this planet we can get that we can't get back home is, say, high purity silicon. Yeah, I think we'll go with the high purity silicon. And we'll go with the high purity variant because it's refined. Same with the titanium. So far, I haven't been able to find a use for those. And for those, I mean like the titanium ore and the silicon ore, there's no real use for those, so we might as well refine them before we send them to cut down on transport costs. We've also stuck on logistics drones. This is going to be interesting. Now, if we've done this right, we should be able to take this and send it to a logistics station back on our home planet. Though first, I want to hook up a couple of other things, namely the silicon vein over there, and there's a, was it? No. Damn it, there's a fire ice vein around here somewhere. There, fire ice. So I want to hook up both of those first. Once both of those are plugged into this as well, then we're going to head back home and see if we can't get this to send its resources back to our home planet. Well, it turns out this was not exactly what I thought it was. This is a logistics station, but it's for planetary stuff. So that means only stuff on the planet is affected. Now, this is just a little short thing I stuck together where some silicon goes in there, and then it gets picked up by these ships. They pick it up and they transport it over to that side. As you can see, not very fast. 8 meters per second, but it does seem like they can hold a lot of transport ships. So, it's not like it's slow and they can't take care of things. It just seems to be for on the planet if you want to do this stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's really high throughput if you get enough of them going on. It doesn't seem quite worth it considering what we have right now. Instead, if we want to get interplanetary, what we got to do is we got to get interstellar logistic systems. Intra-planetary, it seems, is not what we were looking for. We want interstellar. But to do that, we need this, which also requires that weird-looking metal in there, which is high-strength titanium. To get high-strength titanium as well, we're going to need that yellow structure matrix, which is the same for both of those. That yellow structure matrix is... where is it? It was down here somewhere. I want to say this stuff. Yellow structure matrix. That requires, well... we're going to have to get back onto the science because we need this stuff. Once we unlock those two sciences, we can start to actually, well, we can continue on with this bus. I added a few extra things onto the bus here, namely processors. These things down here. The only downside is, well, we're not producing as many as we would like as fast as we would like, namely because silicone is our bottleneck. These things here require silicone and copper to be produced. The copper we've got plenty of, and the silicone, though, not so much. If you check through here, we're starved pretty much the whole way along. The reason for this is just we can't produce silicone on this planet except from smashing rocks. I suppose we could smash up an awful lot of rocks, but no. We'll just we'll do a little bit of science, get ourselves the interplanetary transfer stuff, and we'll use the interplanetary transfer stuff to get our silicon from the other planet. So we have begun research of interstellar logistic systems, which should hopefully allow us to at least automate stuff. There's a bit of an annoyance here for me. Well, a slowdown in the game, I find. Namely because I'm very inexperienced at this one, but you do have to get about 80 of these points into titanium alloy. Otherwise, getting this is pointless because you need the titanium alloy to build the ships and to build the interstellar logistics station. So that's fine, but you'll notice here you only require 80 of this structure matrices, which is fine, and then over here you only require 120. However, you require a lot more of the red and blue, but that's fine, you've already built those up at this point. But it does mean to get these yellow matrices you need one other thing, and that you don't have on hand naturally, and that is titanium. To build those resources over here, let's see, you need a bunch of this organic crystal, which you can build from oil, water, and a few things on your home planet. But the titanium ingots, yeah, you got to get those from off-planet. So I literally had to fly across and do a big cargo run to bring back a bunch of this stuff so that we could get enough titanium to knock out the last of the science. Well, knock out this science. Once this is done, and once we've got all this basic science. Oh my god, it does look pretty cool though. I got to give the graphics an A+. But once that's done, we can then start doing the interstellar logistic systems and start shipping the ingots back automatically, which is what I was already trying to do. That should be fun. And then let's see if there's any other technologies here that might be worth trying to nip in very quick. Well, we definitely want to try out interstellar power transmission. That should allow us to transfer power from planet to planet and share our power grids. That would also be great, or maybe not, we'll find out. We're also probably going to want to queue this up as well. Framed material lightweight structures, namely because all the other techs I've been looking at require that one, and where is it? This one? High strength material. These two materials pretty much show up in everything else. For example, there's a fusion reactor and it requires that high strength material down there. A particle controller, yeah, that requires some of that material as well. All of them pretty much require that. So I'll queue those up, but I think that's all we're going to do until we get some more interplanetary transfer going on. Now we're looking, okay, all our research is backed up. What are we short on? Blue science. Ooh, I could probably, you know what? I'm not even going to bother sprucing that up. I'm going to let that finish. All we got to do is finish off interstellar. Or is it? How much is left? Oh, it's like 1,200. No bother. I could swear those trees keep growing back. I mean, I thought I killed those trees already, but never mind. We'll get around to those later. The tech is done. We can now finally construct the interstellar logistics station. As opposed to the logistics intraplanetary, we're going with the interstellar interplanetary. Okay. The only thing we're going to need for this that we don't have so far... Oh no, we can make particle containers. That's not a bother. It's the titanium alloy. Okay, well the titanium alloy is going to be a little bit tricky. Titanium ingots, we've got the other planet, that's fine, we can bring up back a load of them. We're going to need some steel, no bother. And sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is a new one. That's going to require refined oil, that we've got. Stone ore, yep, that we've got. And water, that we've got. In fact, you know what? We're just going to make a whole new facility for this, a quick one. We just want a whole bunch of titanium alloy. Actually, I think we might be able to put that onto our main bus. One quick thing when I'm building this, I'd just like to point out, when you click on this to drag stuff out, you've got that filter there on the middle right, and if you hit tab, you can choose between what you want to suck out. So we want to grab just the oil, so the oil will get put out onto that one, and if we go on the second one, we can say put the hydrogen onto the second one, and we can filter the output. So we don't have to just pull out randomly, we can pull out what we want. This is just... oh, that's so handy. Thanks to the comments again for pointing that one out to me. I don't think I would have noticed that, not for a long time, and it just makes life so much simpler. Oh wait, no, hydrogen goes there, and boom, hydrogen goes into this to get burnt off, and the oil we're going to send down here. I think we're going to stick that on our bus, and then actually we might want to split it up. We have oil on the bus, and we're going to get refined oil on the bus and sulfuric acid. This little facility here is what we use to produce our sulfuric acid, which comes out along this conveyor belt. Now, why did I want to produce sulfuric acid again? I swear to God, I'm losing track of all the stuff I'm trying to do in this game. Also, I should probably get some sleep. Yes, you wanted the sulfuric acid to combine with the titanium ingots and steel to make sulfuric acid. Oh, and sulfuric acid to make the titanium alloy. Right, so we're going to need steel. I think we're going to have to tap into another iron ore patch because we've sort of been running pretty heavily on the first iron ore patch over there. Let's see how we're going to add this into our SpaghettiOs. To put steel into this build, we've basically tied up this entire iron mine veins. We've dumped them here into some furnaces. What do you call them? Smelters. Now, the smelters are a 1-to-1 ratio with steel, so these things eat the line, they turn it into steel. The steel comes out this side, and we're going to feed it on to our SpaghettiO base. Our main bus, if you want to call it. Now the steel comes through here and gets fed into these titanium alloy smelters. Now they need 8 sulfuric acid, 4 steel, and 4 titanium ingots. So, all comes in from this side. The sulfuric acid comes across from way over there. You can't really see it, but there's the oil facilities over there, and there you can see the sulfuric acid pouring in. And then the titanium we still have to import manually from another planet. I'm going to have to do something about that, but that's why we're making all of this. Now all of that comes down here and gets dumped in here, and why is that taking so long to move? You know what? Let's just stick in another one. I haven't found a reason to upgrade really. I've used a few sorter Mark IIs, but not many to be honest. It's just, there's really no point in most instances as far as I can see. Usually you can get by, actually, but in this case... Yeah, in this case, I think we're going to go with some faster ones. There we go. That can keep up with it. Well, we'll have to do another run for titanium, but we do have 194. Yep, just there we go. 200. 200 of the titanium alloy. You know what that means. Can we? What are we missing? Oh, God. Okay, fine. Just 5 seconds. All right. In 130 seconds, we will have 2 interstellar logistics stations. Now all we need is some ships to go with them. So, logistics vessels. Carrying capacity 200. Okay. How many can we make? We can make 5, and then we need more titanium alloy. Yeah, well, we are going to set up those 2, and then we're going to start the transfer of titanium, and we're going to have that titanium alloy or the titanium sent over here somewhere. That's where we're going to have the landing spot, and we're going to have it filled straight into this so we can start making more titanium to make more ships to speed up everything. So this is what it looks like. It's pretty big. I was expecting it to be slightly bigger after the last one, but you know what? That'll do fine. Let's see where the transport drone has to go. I think it has to fly all the way up to the top to place it. Yep, there we go.
You have established an interstellar logistics station and opened the first node of logistics transportation among the planets.
Excellent.
With it, no need to transport cargo.
Just set to remote supply in the site. Excellent.
Just set to remote supply.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll figure it out. Oh, hell yes. Oh, can this also handle logistic? This can also handle local logistics. That's excellent. Well, first thing, titanium ingots. We are going to want you. We're also going to want high purity silicon. And what was the last one? Ah, yes, there. So, local supply, remote supply. Local? Local demand. You know what? We'll figure it out as we go. I should probably read the instructions a little bit more carefully. This is going to be one of our last landings on this planet, hopefully. Let's see if we can't do it just... No, actually, that's not the worst landing so far. And now, where the hell did we put that tower? Replacing the old tower, it was a little bit tricky. We had to empty it out first, which was a little bit complicated. But I think we can take all these resources and dump it back in, maybe. This is one power-hungry monster. Dear Lord. Yeah, power production? Gonna have to get to work on that. Alright, finally figured it out. You need to put in remote demand. If you put in remote demand, it will bring that stuff back to you. But we're going to turn off this for the moment. And we'll just leave that on remote supply. And we'll make everything remote demand for titanium. Because that allows us to build more ships. And more ships allows us to bring in more titanium until eventually we can start going into the other things as well. Not only that, if we go into the star map here, and let's zoom out a bit, you can see our ships actually heading over to Adhill 3. So there they go. That's... Yeah, this game really does get scale quite nice. Well, okay, this scale's not perfect. There's no way we should be able to travel 2.79 AUs in a couple of minutes. Oh, and one other thing. The Dyson Sphere here, I started putting these satellites into different orbits just to get the power a different way. You can see them launching now. Though it's probably been a little bit neutered because of the massive power drain that went into putting this. This seems to require an awful lot of power, and then I presume it dumps that into the ships, and then the ships, well, then it needs to recharge them afterwards, so we're going to have to boost the power supply on the other planet. Or we could use the power transfer devices. Yes, I think this might be a fun thing to experiment with.
And can use it to quickly fill the accumulator with the surplus electricity in the grid. You can also release the electric energy stored in the full accumulator with the same speed, with a stable logistics guarantee. It can continuously supply the grid with power.
I have no idea what any of that means. Charge? Ooh. Okay, I think I know what that means. Okay, so it drains power out of the grid. Discharge? Right, what the hell is the difference? So how do we make it... Oh, one moment. Well, the power exchanger was a bust. I couldn't figure out a way to transfer power between planets. Maybe later. I'm running really late on getting this done. But this is excellent. We can now transfer all of these materials which we don't have back home, back to our home planet, which means no more back and forth. We can actually finish off that Spaghetti-O bus. In fact, let's go back and have one quick look at that. Nope. I'm going to sleep. I need some sleep. But yeah, I'm quite interested to see how much further we can take it in this game, especially considering now we've got those resources we can really get into the technology. Now that we've got titanium, we can actually produce this yellow stuff at a reasonable rate and not have to care, which means we can get into later game research. Nope, I'm going to sleep. A quick post word from Francis after they've had a night's sleep and can get to look back at some of the things that went on and probably point out some of the things that weren't obvious when I was going through this. Well, these satellites that you launch, the Dyson Sphere solar sails, they sort of degrade in time. As in, they seem to have a life cycle. You launch them into space and they'll send you back power for so long, but then eventually they just disappear or get destroyed or sucked into the sun. I don't know. They don't last forever though, so this is not, you can't infinitely scale this up, it seems. I think we have to put in a frame to keep them in place and just stuff we'll have to do. But for now, it is a decent enough source of power, but I'm thinking I probably went into this too quickly. You're probably better off holding out. This just seems wasteful. We're launching all of these things into space, but why? We could just do disposable power on the ground. It just seems like a waste of time for me. But they are absolutely really cool. The other thing is, stay up there. Yeah, this thing over here. This thing is awesome. It saves you so much time and effort. Right now, it's handling about half a belt of titanium. So titanium ingots, we'll be able to launch those back home. And you can see that orange bit there? That's the stuff that's in transit. Now, we've got 10 ships on this side and 10 ships on the other side. Also, as well as that, these seem to function as intra-planetary ones as well. So you can put in logistics drones and you can transfer between these and another one anywhere else on the planet. Or if you have some more local towers, you can do some local transfer. So that seems really, really useful. But being able to transport all this stuff from one side to the other just makes the game so much easier. It really gets the scale across. Now, another thing that was brought up in the comments is if we're going to make a Dyson Sphere, there's not enough materials on this planet to do it. Yes, that is very, very true. There would not be enough planet in this one galaxy, I suppose you'd call it, solar system. I'm going to call it solar system. Whatever, there wouldn't be enough resources inside here to do it. However, Adhill is only there. See there? That's Adhill. That's the planet we're around. If you zoom out, you can see all these other stars. They also have planets around them. So we have to go out and exploit those as well to finish the Dyson Sphere. So we're going to have to not just do our little corner of the galaxy, we have to go to all the other planets that are all around here. There's another mechanic for flying between stars so that we'll have to fly to the other planets. And I'm not sure how we get the resources back from there to here, or if we build a Dyson Sphere around each one. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. All I know is, yeah, I probably could have burned some more hours in this game at some point. But, you know, Monday we'll be back to, Monday, Tuesday we'll be back to Odyssey and RimWorld because, you know, promises were made. Oh, cool, ship's landing. There, that is cool. So they actually land centrally down through the axis right there and then just take straight off. Okay, that is actually pretty awesome. Can I actually catch up with those ships? Okay, that is cool. You can literally fly after them. You got to give it to it. This game really does have some striking visuals. You can even see all the solar we've got over there. That is beautiful. Anyway, I'm going to cut it out here. We'll definitely have more episodes of this at a later date. I hope you enjoyed and good luck.